Hey everybody, welcome back to Bible Tech. Today we're doing a shorter live stream than we usually do with our technology Q&A. Simply because I'm a little tired. You know, this whole COVID-19 nonsense is a little crazy. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you my shiny intro as I usually do, and then we're going to get on to the technology Q&A. You can ask questions in the live stream chat, which will either be on your right or on the bottom of your screen. And here we go. Hey, welcome to Bible Tech. You have to have a decent amount of... It's so easy, anybody can use it. Get a few comments. Somehow flying one of these. You don't see an obvious. And if you want to rewind or fascinating. Alright, hope you like that little intro. I'm especially proud of it. Well, thank goodness I finally got another question in my email inbox, so I'm going to go ahead and go straight to that. Here we go. I got this question from David. Let me move my want to move my head over. Not the email. There we go. Alrighty. I got this question from David Williams. Hi Robbie, I just watched this video of yours below and it helped tremendously. I was able to follow the instructions and initiate a download of all of my Google Photos on one of my accounts. Here's my problem. The method works on one of my Google accounts, but my employer does not show any content available for download. Their employer account. I will screenshot the prompt and send it to you, etc. I uploaded quite a few photos using the Google Photos app, and I want to back them all up on an external drive before I leave the company since I'm switching to a new job. So, I didn't actually mention the answer to this question in my email, but I'm going to. This one little nuance. Whenever you're downloading something from your company, you really want to make sure that there's no legal issues in doing so. That said, it seems like everybody does it anyway, so your mileage may vary. But the actual response I gave David, as I assume he is an adult functioning and able to figure out the legal part himself, he said you have two options. You can log into photos.google.com with the employer log on a computer, click the first image, and while holding shift you can click the last image. And if you don't know, this works pretty much everywhere. You click one thing, hold down the shift key, and while you're holding the shift key you choose the last thing on the list, and you're going to be selecting all of the things there. Control A I don't think works in Google Photos, otherwise I would recommend that. And with all images now selected, he can choose download, the download option at the top right, and maybe under a little three dot menu. Secondly, I suggested he can alternatively ask his current employer IT team to download the images for him. Honestly, I do hope David goes that second route, just for any legal concerns being covered, you know? But anyway, this is free tech support essentially. And your mileage may vary. It's always up to you what you're going to do. Alright, so that's the only question I got, and it is a little disappointing that all my questions seem to come from the one video I made on this channel that gets so many views, and I feel like I put the least amount of effort into that one. I was just so stressed that day, and I didn't set up my camera right, I looked terrible. I'm just really surprised that video got as far as it did. But that's how YouTube works, we don't question the algorithm. There we go, bye-bye. Alrighty, so... let's see here. What else can we talk about? I'm going to go to this tech support sub on Reddit, and let's see what questions people have. Okay, this person says the sound coming from my phone is very quiet recently, even at max volume. I also realized the audio is coming from the top phone, like during a call. Can someone explain to me how to fix this thing in advance? I run into this all the time. On Android and iPhone, if I have my phone connected up to my car, occasionally it will like change the volume level to whatever the last audio stream was at. Like if it's responding to a question with Google or Siri, It'll talk at a certain volume, and then when it returns to the podcast I'm listening to, the volume will be like at the same level in bitrate as Siri or Google talking. Very strange. I kind of understand why, sort of, but whatever. The answer in this case, the easy answer, because they didn't go into any more details, is just reboot your phone. Alright. So I actually mentioned how they can turn off their phones, because a surprising amount of people don't actually know how to turn off their phone. If you don't know how, on Android you just hold down the power button, and it'll give you an option to shut down and restart, or power off and restart, whatever. Who cares what the verbiage is? We can read, right? And on the iPhone, you hold down the power button, and a little slider comes up to power off the phone. You slide to power it off, wait a few seconds, and then you just hold down the power button again and turn it on. It amazes me how many people don't know how to restart any kind of technology, and that is a really fundamental thing, because a lot of technology issues can really be solved by just restarting it. There's also a running joke in the show called The IT Crowd from BBC in Britain. I believe so, anyway. And the running joke was they would have a recording when they picked up the phone. A recording would play, and it would say, "Hello, have you tried turning it off and on again?" "Uh-huh. Yep, just do that." "Great, it worked. Fantastic." And then the phone would click. So it was just a recording, and they didn't actually have to do any work. And it does actually work in so many cases it's laughable. Printers are known by IT people everywhere to be the bane of our existence. I have a printer over here that I really like, to be honest. It's a Brother MFC something or other I got out of a Goodwill or a Salvation Army in the middle of a rural town. And it's a business grade printer, probably like $300 or $400 when it was new. And I got it for like $20, $25, something like that. Even had ink in it. And if you're buying a printer, just go with the business grade option, because it's going to last you longer. Otherwise, you're just paying for ink until the consumer one breaks. So this printer works great. The problem is sometimes my computer under Linux, Mac, Windows, it just won't connect to it. And what do? Everybody take a guess. Yeah, it's restart the printer. Yeah, and how do you turn off the printer and turn it on again? You hold down the power button and then click the number 1 as it tells you to on the screen to turn off the printer. It beeps, it grumbles, it makes noises inside the printer, and you really wonder what's going on. It finally turns off. And to turn it on again, you do what? Same thing you do on a phone. Hold down the power button. It beeps, it grumbles, it actually plays me a little tune, little ditty. It turns back on. Yahoo, right? Fantastic. So, yes, restarting is a very, very simple fix. The only thing you want to do is, if at all possible, make sure that you save whatever you're working on first and close the application. Otherwise, you will likely lose that data. Although that is less and less the case, right? So I want to talk to you just for a second while I make this video. When I was getting ready to make this video, I thought, hey, I should tell people what I'm working on. And I'll tell you what I'm working on. I recently switched to an iPhone from being an Android user. And I've been an iPhone user before. For any length of time, I've used iPhones for 2 iPhones before this. And I consider my first truly smart device to be an iPod Touch. Before that, I actually had smart devices before smartphones were a thing. I had the Palm devices, which were little grayscale things that look like a pocket watch with a larger screen, effectively, and you could enter calendar events, browse the internet. My dad even connected a cellular connection to one of them with a little module that plugged in, kind of like a Game Boy Advance cartridge, little game. And we could actually bid on eBay auctions and had a little wire, it was a wired keyboard, and the phone slotted right down into it, and we could like type emails. And my dad just brought around this little device, and it was called a PDA, and that was the precursor to smartphones. And I had several of those. I had Palm ones, Windows ones, but I really feel like the iPod Touch was my first truly smart device because the screen was so much better, and the touchscreen was so much more responsive, and the web browsing experience was very usable on almost any website, and that absolutely wasn't the case for PDAs, right? So again, I'm back in the iOS world. I didn't think I'd be here, but I'm here for one reason, and it's privacy. Google has been censoring people. They have been really just invasive with your privacy. You can find a website from Google that'll show you all the times it's recorded your voice, and it's horrifying. It's like a Black Mirror episode. Or Sliders episode if you want to go back further than that, or maybe a Doctor Who episode where they land on a planet where things are just a little off, right? Sci-fi craziness be a science fiction reflex reality, and the science future. So yeah, I am on an iPhone now. I really hope they're as good about privacy as they say they are. I have some reason to disbelieve them, but as of right now, there is really no functional smart device. Hopefully the Pine phone fills this gap. But as of right now, there is no functional device that can truly offer you a smartphone experience and have any concept of privacy. Even the Pine phone, right? It's a great device. You can manually disable all of the hardware radios or Wi-Fi connectivity. But, you can't even really install like privacy-centric apps on it, or if you could, you can't really expect any reasonable speed with these particular developer options they have currently out. On the other hand, I will probably be messing around with those at some point in the future. But in the meantime, I am going to, in my next video, hopefully, be comparing 3 different kinds of smartphone operating systems that are privacy focused. I'm going to have my iPhone in there. I'm going to have Graphene OS, which is considered to be the most secure smartphone operating system on the planet. And I'm going to have probably another Android version in there as well, just to show you the different pros and cons in real-world usage that you're going to get with these devices. So it's not just privacy is the one thing. You got to know what you're going to lose here, right? And with the iPhone, as I think his name is Paul Joseph Chato on YouTube, it really feels like Apple has, for the first time, solidified themselves in all spaces as being a market leader. The Macintosh is very viable. Their prices are expensive, yes, but I feel like with the ARM processor change, they're going to be making their own processors if you haven't heard, so they won't have to buy them from Intel. And I think that's going to lower their overhead and result in a cheaper product that pretty much everybody can afford, at least at some point. And that's fantastic. For me, I got the iPhone 7, which is a couple of years old. And here's another thing about the iPhones. On top of all the software improvements they made, because I've actually had an iPhone 7 before and I didn't like it as much as I do now. The iPhones get more support. And this is very, very important. They will last you longer than an Android device will, 100% of the time. And that is unless you are, a very advanced user and you're RAMing your phone, but still you're not really truly getting security updates for the firmware. So, proper device support. You will get proper device support for your iPhone longer than you will ever get with any Android device, even the Google first-party Pixels, which are high-end devices that totally compete with the iPhone. But as far as privacy and security goes, there is no competition with the Apple iPhone as far as I'm concerned if you want an actual smartphone experience and still being able to use the majority of apps out there. So this iPhone 7 came out in 2017. And typically speaking, Apple fully supports all of their iPhones for up to 5 years. And I think they've been fairly consistent about that 5 or 6 year mark. And that's fantastic. I mean, they just announced the iOS 14, and that's going to support even the phone before this one, the iPhone 6S. Fantastic support. And I mean, you are not going to find any other Android manufacturer or anything like that, any other smartphone manufacturer actually supporting their products that fully that long. I originally bought the iPhone 7 as a test, and I immediately liked it so much that I went and found a used Apple Watch. This phone is used as well on eBay. And I'm not even sure I'm going to upgrade to the iPhone 12, even though it's supposed to be a really good model that has good price for performance, better OLED screen, because I like the iPhone 7 that much, and I paid almost nothing for it, and it still has 2 years more of support, so why do I need another phone, you know? And I'm not the richest guy in the world, that is definitely the case. I mean, I'm very thankful that I am in America, and I have the opportunities I do, but as far as Americans go, not that well off. Not a lot of spending money. So to get that kind of a value is fantastic. If I was recommending a phone to anybody right now, it would probably be an iPhone. And I used to kind of laugh when people said they paid for iCloud to back up their photos and stuff. Well, I'm not laughing anymore because Google's privacy apocalypse is upon us. I'm not a fan of it. And yes, I realize the irony. I'm talking on YouTube, and that's where the audience is. So that's where I'm going to be. I will eventually be mirroring this YouTube channel to other video services. There's one called library.tv, lbry.tv. And that seems to be the most mainstream alternative to YouTube at the moment. The other ones kind of get into fringe weirdness. But I'll use them if it's just a matter of posting my channel and making it available for people to learn. I'm really about learning, and if you have to go in the fringe place just to have some privacy, I guess that's where you gotta go. And nothing's perfect. But anyway, I will be doing at least 3, count them 3, smartphone privacy comparison soon. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in that type of thing. If you have any questions for the people who are watching live stream right now, go ahead and ask in the chat. It's where you see Bible Tech and Ask Away on your right or on your left-hand side or on the bottom of your screen. Google loves to put their little live chat box everywhere. In the meantime, I've answered 2 questions that weren't, one of them wasn't necessarily directed at me, but I answered it anyway. And let's go ahead and answer more. Let's see if somebody else answered this one. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page and sort by new again so I get one that nobody answered yet. This person said every time I launch my computer, it says optimizing shaders at the bottom and it's stuck at 81.46 every time. Yeah, okay. So, and what they're talking about is likely a video game. Or Vulkan, and I'm guessing. Vulkan is interesting. So they may be talking about a development platform, because Vulkan is technically like a graphics interface layer of some kind. But the answer remains the same. You restart your computer. You restart your computer, and I'm not being smart, but here, this is likely the answer. Things are stuck, so I'd say restart your computer or reinstall software. Alrighty, so yay. Gotta love how progress bars don't really mean anything, right? It's always a guess. Oh, this could take 10 hours, 10 minutes, 5 weeks, 6 years. Gotta love that, right? Reminds me of an old comic where the guy who invented the Windows time estimation for loading bar dialogues when he goes to visit someone and they're on the phone saying, hey, when are you going to get here? He's like, well, and you can imagine where that goes. Changes his mind every second. I remember as a kid, when I was downloading things, I would actually take the size and divide it by the time it already gone by, and then multiply that times the amount of megabits that were left, and I was almost always spot on with how long a download was going to take, or process was going to take, whereas the Windows estimation was horribly wrong. Okay, let's see what... So, fantastic. So, someone said it worked when I suggested turning their phone off and turning it on again. And I'm glad it worked. And they didn't upvote me, but that's normal because they don't know how to use Reddit if they have that kind of question. The life of an IT worker is a thankless job. Thank your IT people. It's Thank Your IT People Day. Who said it? Me. That's all you need to know. Alright. I definitely prefer doing tech support stuff in person because usually I can explain it in such a way that people feel like they understood it and they've never understood it before. And they're usually very thankful, and that's nice. Alright. Let's see. Does this person have any... So he says, my iPhone XS is having strange screen problems. I've read it may be a swollen battery, but I sure hope not. Here's the rundown of the problems. The screen is slightly elevated on the top left. You can see the light from the display. You can also push it down, but it comes back up again. Other parts of the screen near the middle can be pushed. You can hear a sort of click, but nothing else. I've had no other issues. Charge is fine. Drain's fine, etc. The battery health is at 89%. I'm on iOS 14 beta. What is wrong? It's exactly what they think. It's exactly what they think. It is either a swollen battery or they bent their iPhone. It's unlikely they bent their iPhone because the XS had a glass back. So if you bend your iPhone enough, your glass is shattered. And I think they would have mentioned that, but who knows? Let's not assume, right? Because we know what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and respond and say... Excuse me. Sorry to slurp on the live stream there, but my mouth gets dry very easily due to some disability issues. So my answer to them was it is either a swollen battery or is bent. Do not attempt to push it back together. If it is the first possibility, it will explode. Put it in a jar and contact Apple. You gotta love the things we techies run into these days. You know what? That small supercomputer in your pocket. Yeah, don't do that thing or it'll blow up. That's fun. It's great news to give somebody. But it is, yeah, that is very likely that it's a swollen battery. What causes that? Well, it could just be a bad battery cell. It could be a quick change of temperature and throw it off. I mean, it could be water got in there and caused some sort of a short. Yeah, that's fantastic. So if you get a swollen battery on any of your devices where you notice the casing is bending, right, and where a battery would be, in the case of a phone, the battery is pretty much the size of the phone. So if it's expanding, put it in a jar. Ideally, put some dirt in the bottom of the jar or something like that. Well, maybe not a glass jar. Probably, you know what? I'm going to edit that. Because put it in a... plastic container. in a plastic container. I change that plastic container because if it's glass and it explodes, I just told somebody how to get shrapnel in their eye. Oh, good job, Robbie. It's a good thing we were talking that on the live stream, right, guys? So yeah, if your device is expanding, you definitely want to put it in a plastic container of some kind, maybe a bucket, maybe some dirt on the bottom to just absorb any acid that may be coming out of that battery, because batteries are they are acid in a container, effectively. And if you don't put some dirt at the bottom or something to soak up that acid, it could burn right through the bottom of your bucket, and that's just not a happy day, right? You don't want house damage. You want your house burning, do you? Oh boy, fantastic! Lovely news to give someone. Fantastic. Okay. Somebody says AdBlock Plus loading. That's what APP stands for. AdBlock blocking loads of pop-ups, things running slowly. Something. I say there's something that only started happening recently, as in today. Visit the Neopets website. Wow, it's a game from the 90s. It's kind of like MySpace for people who like little fuzzy animals, Tamagotchis. I used to do it, so no hate. Tonight, and noticed it wasn't loading, but every other page was. It took me a while to figure out why. 84,000 pop-ups, according to AdBlock Plus. Sure enough, every page I visited on the site had the same problem. The counter just kept climbing. I found a post on this Reddit from 4 years ago about something similar. I know the advice solved the issue for OP or me. Oh, okay. OP, there's somebody else. Half Capercy antivirus, which didn't change the problem. Didn't detect Trojans or other pieces of malware. And I found using system terminals process, blah, 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 blah. I'm really worried about my computer security now. Within a few hours, I found YouTube was starting to get 100 pop-ups blocked by AdBlock Plus 2. Well. That's not great. I'm going to suggest that they remove AdBlock Plus and see how YouTube loads, but avoid Neopets. And then I actually am going to open up Neopets in a private window here. I don't know if you guys... Hey, welcome to Bubble Tech. Hey, sorry about that. I forgot you guys can see my screen, so just a minute. I'm going to open Neopets in a private window on a safe browser. I should be doing this on a virtual machine, but I'm lazy. And I trust my browser Brave a little bit too much. Okay. Okay. Neopet Brave is only blocking an ad or two. So I'm not really concerned about this. So it's not... I can't believe apparently Neopets launched a mobile site and it's in beta. I had no idea they were still active. Fantastic. I should try to get my account back. Okay. So cool. It's not Neopets. So I guess that does change my opinion a little bit on what they need to do. Maybe. I don't know. So, there's been a rash of fake AdBlock Plus extensions to protect your browsing. And I wonder if that's what's happening here to this person. So I'm going to recommend they deactivate it. Because if they're getting loads of pop-ups and it's legitimate, it's coming from their computer. It's definitely not coming from YouTube, right? So either AdBlock Plus itself is fake, or their computer already has a virus and it shouldn't change anything. So, okay, so let me just talk like a technician for a second here before I answer this person. If somebody hasn't already, let me see. Yeah, nobody else has. Okay, so if I was at this person's house helping them in person, which I would do with a mask on. Okay. What I would probably be doing is booting their computer into Linux so that the whatever virus or whatever they had on the computer wouldn't be relevant. It wouldn't be attacking me anymore. And this is temporary. I just plug in something. I don't have to install anything. I just have it on a flash drive. I back up all their important data. And then I would start diagnosing the computer under Windows. I would start things up. I would see if anything crazy happened. And just see what I could find. If I found anything, I would manually try to kill the process or quit it. And with, like I said, they use Sysinternals Process Explorer. That's a great way to do it. And I would try to remove that offending software and any registry entries manually. Antivirus programs are always behind, and they always will be behind, and they're basically useless. The best thing you can do is have an ad blocker like this person does to block the viruses from getting in to your computer to begin with. Also, it's important to practice safe browsing and make sure you aren't going anywhere that will give you a bunch of ads, because that's how you get viruses primarily. Bigger than viruses now is just scams, right? Social engineering. Oh, fantastic. So I have my cousin on here, Brandon, and he just asked in chat, hey, I'd like to do a collab. Me too, Brandon. I would love to do a collab with you. Let's make it happen. Awesome. He builds awesome PCs. If you Google Pence PC, you should be able to find it. Hey, Brandon, I don't know if you're still on and watching, but if you are, can you put your URL in the chat? I'm not sure if YouTube is going to block that or not, but go ahead, self-promote. I fully support you, brother. So, yeah, he builds some awesome computers at very affordable prices. That's my cousin Brandon out of Illinois. And he also co-owns, as far as I know, an awesome LAN sports center. And I think they were sponsoring some e-gaming, esports teams from a local public school, high school, middle school, something like that. They just do an awesome job, and it's a converted theater. Prices are affordable. I went in there, and he didn't even, he wasn't there, and his employees, I wasn't gonna go like say, hey, I'm Brandon's cousin, let me in for free. But so I went in there, I paid full price, and it was an absolute winning experience. Even as a technician, I was really surprised how he got everything running like that. Just they had every game out there, it seemed, and everything was networked well. They had spare controllers on hand for people who wanted to use a game controller. My one brother wanted to use a PlayStation remote, so he could play a game he was more familiar with control scheme on. They're just fantastic. So check out Landmark e-gaming in Illinois. I think it's the Peoria area, and Pence PC, and they'll build you a computer. That's awesome. Alrighty, so back onto this Adblock Plus question. Sorry, I got a little distracted there, guys. But that collab would be really cool. Yeah, so I this computer this person is talking about, I'm really thinking that the Adblock Plus is fake. I can't really confirm that. I'm going to refresh the page and see if anybody answered them before I did. And they did not. So I'm going to go ahead and answer. help if I could type. Alright, so Brandon, I just saw your response. Go ahead and Facebook message me that link and I will put it up on the stream. As soon as I receive it. As long as I don't quit the stream first, because we're out of questions here. Alrighty, let's see. So I responded, if you remove AdBlock Plus and visit YouTube, what happens? I recommend YouTube, not Neopets, just to make sure that nothing crazy is happening. YouTube is far less likely to have any security issues on it with the website itself. It sounds like a malicious browser extension. So the malicious browser extension could be AdBlock Plus itself. It could be something else, because they didn't see anything in Kaspersky or Sysinternal's Process Explorer. So, but then again, Process Explorer doesn't tell you if it finds anything, it just tells you what's running, and you have to know if it's a bad thing or not. Which this person may not have, or they wouldn't be necessarily here. So, yeah. Malicious browser extensions are far more common than viruses, it seems slightly. Let me just make sure Brandon didn't message me already here. He did not. Alright guys, I'm going to take a short break and see if he sent that to me, and drink some water so I don't cough on the microphone so much. See you in a sec. Alright everybody, I am back. How y'all doing? So, I don't have the URL link from Brandon yet, but it's facebook.com/iPencePC, and I will show you a link of what that should look like right here. There we go. And yeah, you can contact him on there. He has a phone number, 309-369-4610. Again, that's 309-369-4610. If you need a gaming PC, he's the one to get it from. I have actually personally reached out to him on behalf of some acquaintances of mine, and he gave them a price that was stunning. I mean, I'm not getting paid by him for this, although if he offered it, I would take it. But I would tell you guys. And I only will recommend things that I personally believe in, and Pence PC, even though it shares my name, is something that I do believe in, so go for it. I personally have used the machines that he built quite extensively when I was at his Landmark Gaming Center. So yeah, go for it. Alrighty, let's see if somebody responded to one of my answers with another question. So how would I be able to tell if it was bent? Okay. Someone's asking how would they tell if their phone was bent versus having an expanding battery that's about to explode? Well, the answer is you put it on a table, face first. I face first because the camera bump is going to make it not flat. I mean, really, if you really think about it, if the casing is strong enough and firm enough, it's not going to be really possible to tell unless you take it apart to see if the battery is expanding. But it's almost certainly the battery expanding, to be honest, with those models because they have glass backs. Okay, so that's what I told them. Alrighty, let's see. Do I have any new channel comments? Let's see. Let's see, can I filter it by I have not responded? Yes, I can. I haven't responded. Let's go ahead and see if I can find anything I haven't responded to that's important. Yeah, so none of these are really new. Let's see what the ones that are likely spam. Keep up the good work is a likely spam. I could have used that encouragement. Thanks a lot, Facebook. Weirdo. Okay, this is a different language. And I don't know what it says. It appears to be Arabic. I really want to shove that through a translator. Okay. So, okay, that is spam. So that goes bye-bye. And that also looks like that looks good enough for me. Alright, great. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, buddy. Alright. Let's see. What else can we talk about today? Well, I'm not really getting any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. If you guys do have questions, you can go ahead and email me at robbie@bobble.tech. And yeah, again, that's robbie@bobble.tech. You know what? Let me see if I can put that in on the screen here. Because, sorry, I had some technical issues. That's why I'm missing some of my YouTube video decorations today. One of my hard drives failed, and thanks to a friend of mine, I have another one installed, but my backups haven't finished restoring yet. Thank God for backups. Always back up your stuff. Back up your backups, too, if you really care about it. Alrighty. Hey, welcome to Bubble Tech. Yeah, well, whatever. That's not it. Yeah, if you go here, there we go. Up there. Bobble.tech. You will find my email address in plain sight. So go ahead, go there if you want to send me an email. And also check out all of my free stuff, of which there is an awful lot. And I mean a lot. I've spent a long time, very, very long time, assembling this webpage. We got a privacy guide. We got a laptop buying guide that's called ThinkPads because it's about the best laptops possibly ever made. A ThinkPad. Only competition is MacBook, and I still kind of prefer ThinkPads even though I'm using an iPhone again. I have a free step page. Tons of free software. Fantastic. And then there's links to my Reddit, YouTube, and Facebook, which are all effectively for this purpose. for educating you on things you want to be educated about regarding consumer technology. So give that a check, and especially if you want to see my free resource directory before it gets totally changed, because I'm going to be changing this a lot very soon. I'm going to be, within the next week or two, hopefully, I'm going to be separating this out into Windows, Linux, Mac, Chrome OS. So it'll have all my favorite stuff. And you know what, at this point, because more people use smartphones than they use full-on computers, just by the numbers, I'm going to probably have an Android and iOS section too. So my favorite apps that were free for everything, and we'll just do that, alright? So I will see you guys next time, and look forward to your questions via email. See you later. Hey, welcome to Bible Tech. You know, you have to have a decent amount of... It's so easy.